What's going on, good people? Happy Monday to you. We are on the lunch break. It is 12:10. This is Pro Fan Talk. We getting it in. A lot to unpack, a lot to talk about. What a weekend. The games were crazy. The results were crazy. The play was crazy. You had everything that you could want, uh, unless you live in Baltimore or Detroit. So, uh, where do we start? Um, let's start with Baltimore. We Lamar Jackson played relatively well. I will give him that, but the receivers let him down in big moments. They played pretty well. Zay Flowers played pretty well. I saw the comments from OBJ's dad. I was like, "Where's that coming from?" Nobody was blaming him for anything, so I'm really not sure where that came from. Um, but Baltimore's defense played well enough to win. Offense did not make enough plays. Let me say it like that. They played they played well enough to win, but the offense could not make plays. Other than that, them two crazy plays where uh the pass to Zay Flowers, the deep one that got him the first score, and then the deflection and Lamar caught it himself and ended up running it in, or getting the first down rather. That was just a big play that kept the drive going. But other than those two plays, there were a lot of drop balls and missed opportunities, and then of course Lamar throws the big. He's trying to force the ball into the end zone, and he throws in a triple coverage, and it gets picked off. So I don't know if he was trying to go. I know Kansas City's safety had just come off, so they had a backup in there, and I don't know if they were attacking him, but the guy was covered. I understand what he was trying to do, and it wasn't even a good ball. Maybe if you'd have thrown the ball on target and a little bit higher, maybe you would have had a chance for a jump ball, but he threw the ball was off target, and they made the pick, and their defense made the plays when they had to make them. That was it. Offense, they struggled most of the day, and it was just wasn't good, man. And just when you thought they were getting it going, getting down there, Zay Flowers has that ridiculous taunting penalty that was so unnecessary. It was so unnecessary. I don't understand what it is with these players where they gotta stand up and show up and taunt and all of that kind of stuff. Now, a lot of people can call it as ticky tack, taking the emotion out of the game and all of that kind of stuff. And I understand that. But the minute he throws the ball down in front of his face, and he's like, anytime you standing over a dude, they gonna get you for that. And he should know that. Zay Flowers should know that. And it was very obvious. It'd have been totally different if he'd have been facing away from him, like if he was still facing the end zone and did his first down dance and all of that kind of stuff. Okay, I'll give you that. But when you standing on top of him, looking down, and you flip the ball down on him, like he went through like two or three motions to give him the business, and it was like, dude, that's unnecessary, man. You don't have to do that. But he did it, and they caught him, and they cost him. It cost him. I believe that was the series where he goes in. The was either the very next play or the in that next series where he goes right back to Zay Flowers and he tries to dive in the end zone, and they knock the ball away. That was just a great play by San Francisco. I can't fault Zay Flowers for that because that's what you're supposed to do. He was trying to get the ball past the line of scrimmage, and San Francisco just punched it out. They had the right angle at the right timing and all of that kind of stuff. And the ball came out, and it was a good call. I would have rather him see him just, tuck it under, hold on to the ball, and go down. But I understand that because how many times does a receiver score in that same situation? So it is what it is. But you gotta be smarter than that. He may have even been able to just tuck it in, but again, he's a receiver. He's not somebody that's going, put two hands on the ball and try to run over somebody. He's not built for that. He's not built like a running back to make that type of move. So he did what he did, and he got caught for it. Maybe 8, 9 out of 10 times, that's a scoring play, but not today, not on that play. So they had their opportunities. The offense did not play relatively well for most of the game, but Baltimore still had opportunities. Defense played well enough to win, period. You got to be able to put points on the boards, man. You have to be able to put points on the board. I thought there was a couple of situations, and this is where you go back and forth. Hey, thank you I will definitely do that, man. I'm trying to keep it up on lunch. I'm trying to get into a rhythm Monday, Wednesday, Fridays on lunch. So I appreciate that, brother. I thought Lamar was going to run a little bit more. He had opportunities, but I got to give him his props because he sat in the pocket and he was waiting for somebody to get open. And there was a lot of times where nobody was open and he just ran out of time. And he was trying to buy more time instead of just taking off. So it's one of those things where if he does that too much, they criticize him because he's not playing any offense. When he doesn't do it, he passes up opportunities. That is very similar to a lot of the back and forth that we had about Jalen Hurts. He breaks out of the pocket too soon, tries to make something happen with his legs, all of that kind of stuff. And it's like when you do it, you're vilified. When you don't do it, you pass up an opportunity to keep the chains moving and to do what you need to do. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But that's the situation where Lamar, you've been doing it all year, bro. I was pulling for you. Man, I wanted to see you beat Kansas City. Y'all had the better team. You just wasn't better yesterday. Patrick Mahomes shows you why he is what he is. He shows you why he's a Hall of Fame quarterback already. You already know what's going there. It's already Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. That is the same type formula as you had with Brady, Belichick, and all them guys in New England. Tom Brady had weapons, and he did some things that only Tom Brady could do. Patrick Mahomes is writing the same book, reading from the same script, and can't nobody stop him. They'll stop him, and then bam, he'll have one play that just hurts your feelings, just breaks you. And there's nothing that anybody can do about that. So, right place, right time. And nobody's going to take him off that perch until they beat him. And the only person that's really been able to beat him is Joe Burrow. And he's hurt. So, hey, man, they hate you when you're winning. They hate you when you're winning. The reason why so many people hate the Dallas Cowboys is because they talk about stuff they did in the 90s. But in the 90s, they were winning. In the 80s, it was San Francisco. In the 70s, it was the Pittsburgh Steelers. So every decade has its favorite team. And now it's the Chiefs' turn. Because you can't doubt what Andy Reid is doing right now. He is killing the game. He is out coaching everybody. And guess what? The reason why this is so impressive with Andy Reid this year is because he really took his lumps this year. He really took his lumps. Losing Bieniemy, the offense wasn't rolling right. The injuries, you lost Travis Kelce for a couple weeks and things got sketchy. Your receivers just have totally failed you this year, but they made the plays yesterday. So they've overcome a lot and they've taken their lumps and they still have gotten back to this point. And for all of them people that talk about the hangover, that's the Super Bowl and this, that, and the other, they had the same hangover. They played just as many games as the Philadelphia Eagles did last year, except they had a couple more points more than we did. But as far as the fatigue and everything that goes with that, they experience the same thing. It's a little bit different when you win and when you lose. The levity is there, but as far as the physical toll and the mental toll and everything, because you can look back in history, it is very difficult, win or lose, to get back to a Super Bowl, and they did it. They did it, and they had way more problems this year than they had last year. That is all coaching, and that is on your quarterback. Your quarterback found you a way to win, and when the rubber met the road yesterday, their skill positions made the plays. They caught the balls, no turnovers, no stupid penalties. They did exactly what they had to do. It ain't no secret that Travis Kelce getting into it with the kicker and all of that kind of stuff. All of those is mind games. All of those is mind games. But at the end of the day, I got to look at Baltimore's defensive game plan, because out of 11 targets, Kelce caught 11 passes and a touchdown. You got to put some pressure on him. That's the guy you're supposed to double team, because when he doesn't get the ball, he's frustrated. When he's frustrated, Mahomes gets frustrated. It's a trickle-down effect. And y'all didn't employ that strategy? I'm curious about that one. Very curious about that one. So I don't understand why they didn't show him more attention. He was just roaming free all day. All day. And they paid for it. But having said that, they still played relatively well. The defense, anyways. The defense still played relatively well. Offense just, y'all didn't make the plays, man. Plain and simple. So now I put out a post last night. I was like, where are all the conspiracy theorists at that were talking about it was rigged? They already know that it's going to be Baltimore. What happened to all of that talk? Where did that go? Right out the door. Man, don't believe that nonsense. Don't ever believe that nonsense. Them jokers play, and they play for a reason. So, but again, they had their opportunities, man. They had their opportunities. So, for Detroit, Dan Campbell is going to get raked through the coals. Going for those fourth downs. The first one in the second half, I didn't have a problem with it. It was 4th and 2, 4th and 3, or something like that. They had the right call. Jared Goff threw the right pass. The receiver just dropped the ball, hit him in his hands. What are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? You got to make that catch. Period. The second one that could have tied the game, you take that shot. You put the points on the board. I know you go for it and stuff like that, but at some point in time, common sense has to come into play, at least a little bit. At least a little bit. Common sense has to come into play, and you got a chance to tie the game. And just when you're in a situation like that, people tend to do things differently. When the game is tied, give your defense a chance to make something happen. Your defense was playing well. Give your defense a chance to make something happen. And then the biggest thing, to me, it wasn't going for it on fourth down. The biggest thing to me was the fumble. Jahmyr Gibbs fumbles the ball right after San Francisco had just tied it up. Jahmyr Gibbs fumbles the ball. And if you watch that play, and I'm looking at it from a running back's point of view, he went to the wrong side. Either he went to the wrong side or Goff went to the wrong side. But I'm gonna put that on Jahmyr Gibbs, because it looked like he went to the wrong side. His hands were in reverse, and it looked like Goff was expecting him to be on the other side. So I don't know. But either way, it was a busted play. And then when you're on the inside, it is very difficult when you're on the inside ISO hidden play, meaning you're either hitting the A to B gap right behind the center, either to his left or to his right. It is very difficult to spin when you are in that traffic. Because the minute you spin and your body is going in the wrong direction, it is very difficult to try to push your way backwards, trying to go forward. You always want to stay going forward, fall forward. What's going on, Cody K? It is very difficult to do what he did, because for half a second you are going sideways, and depending on when that force hits you of the defense catching up with you will depend on which way you gonna go. And it just so happened that somebody got their arm in there and they ripped that ball right out. He didn't have it secure. That's how I know that he went the wrong direction. The ball was not secure whatsoever, and he was spinning. You can't have those mistakes at that particular time. They choked it away. They choked it away. I always love using that meme from the movie Apocalypto. Almost. You almost had a chance. It was 24-7 at halftime. CJ Gardner-Johnson is waving at the crowd like it was over, and it's like, man, you got to play 4 quarters of football. You have to. They're going to play that game, the second half of that game. Every college team, every high school team, little league team is going to play that second half of the game as an example of how not to give up in the football game, regardless of what the score is. Once you come out at halftime, it's 0-0. And then you got to figure out how bad you got to beat your opponent to win the game. You got to play 4 quarters of football, and Detroit did not do that. Detroit did not do that. They already trying to get on CJ Gardner-Johnson for waving to the crowd. He tried to get the cheap shot on Debo. Debo didn't do nothing but ball with a busted up shoulder. He even said it at the end of with his halftime interview. He was like, I got to get out of here because I'm in so much pain. Like, he paid for it. But I guarantee you, Debo watched that film of Emmitt Smith when he played with a separated shoulder for the Cowboys. He didn't come out of the game. He was like, I'll make it work. And that's exactly what he did. And he wasn't shying away from contact. That was the impressive thing about Debo. So you got to give him props for that, especially as a running back and your shoulders jacked up. And you still lowering your shoulders and falling forward and delivering a blow. Props to you, bro. Because I know what it means to have a shoulder injury and you trying to run the ball. It is difficult, especially if you're a receiver and you always got to move your shoulders to catch the ball and things of that nature. That is difficult. And you did it at the highest level. And you was very productive. You were very productive yesterday. So Detroit had their number the first half, but you got to play 4 quarters, man. You got to play 4 quarters. You make adjustments, you do things, you get a turnover here and there, or your opponent makes a bonehead play. And it was very similar to, I thought it was, I don't know if you want to call it karma or is that serendipity? Where when Ayuk caught that one pass that bounced off Detroit's defender. And the first thing I thought of was when San Francisco lost to the Rams in the conference game, and Jaquiski Tartt could have had the easiest of interceptions, and he dropped it. And that would have given San Francisco the opportunity to go ahead even more, but he dropped the softball of a pick. Stafford underthrew the ball, and he was sitting there in center field, nobody around him, and all he had to do was catch it, and he dropped it. And I believe they ended up scoring and couldn't do anything else after that. And I remember it was when I saw that, that's the first thing I thought of is like, if he catches that ball, it's a whole different ball game. Now you done flip the momentum swing again. Catch the ball. I don't understand what some of these DBs. It should be a rule that all defensive backs and safeties must work out the receivers for like the first 3 weeks of OTAs or something like that. Because I don't know how many times I've seen defensive backs and safeties have a ball coming right to them, and it's like they don't know how to catch. They don't know how to get the ball, catch the ball with your hands. The ball hit him in the face mask. If he'd have been a receiver, because Brock Purdy's not going to catch hell for this because the way the play ended up. But that was a very bad pass by Brock Purdy. He overthrew the ball, and really the receiver wasn't open. He was just going for a long shot, hoping maybe for a PI or something like that. But he got away with that. He slid away with that one because that was not a good ball, and it shouldn't have been thrown to him. But you got to be able to make the plays, man. You got to be able to make the plays. That is so important. And I don't understand what these secondary guys do in OTAs. The reason why they losing, they're not getting all of these picks, man. God, it was right there. It was right there. Detroit, you had opportunities, man. I feel bad for you. Dan Campbell, I feel bad for you. Because you can tell, like, Dan Campbell is an emotional dude. And he had a tough time with that press conference. He had a tough time with that press conference. But I give him props for saying, he wouldn't do anything different. He don't have no regrets. I mean, he did it his way. He was known for going on fourth down and stuff like that. He gonna catch the strays from that, and rightfully so. He should get criticism for that. But I will say, if that's how you gonna go out the way you got there. And that's exactly what he did. So I don't fault him for that. I fault him for not putting the points on the board, but that's what he's been doing. So, okay. It cost you. Plain and simple. It cost you. Yes, that's the way you've been doing it all year. But in this situation, at this time, at this game, it caught up with you. And you should have known better. So, but you went out swinging your way, man. So good for you. Now you gotta work on your hangover and all of that stuff that's gonna come with you, because you know what? Some of their coaches gonna get poached. Some of their players are not gonna be back. And now you got to go through that whole rebuilding thing and start that process all over again. You got to go all the way through the regular season, try to get through healthy, and then try to get back to that exact point and force a different outcome. So Brock Purdy got it done. Patrick Mahomes got it done. And we're going to see what's what in the Super Bowl. I tell you what, though, that damn Chris Jones, man. I think this is going to be, I want to say San Francisco's defense is going to play Kansas City a little bit better. But daggone, man, Chris Jones was balling yesterday. So I don't know if the speed of Warner and Greenlaw is going to upset Mahomes any. They need to come out. San Francisco needs to come. If they want to beat Kansas City, they're going to have to come out and be extremely physical. Extremely physical, because the one thing Patrick Mahomes, he does not like being on the ground. He does not like taking the hits. None of that stuff. He gets frustrated. And for goodness sake, double team Travis Kelce. Make somebody else beat you. Make somebody else beat you. That's the easiest way to beat Kansas City. You got to either Pacheco's going to beat you on the ground, or, make somebody else do it, because you can't leave Travis Kelce open like that, man. That was just not smart by B More. 11 for 11, 400 something yards, or 97 yards in the touchdown. Come on, man. Can't do that. So we'll see what they're going to do. But you got two great minds, Shanahan versus Reed. That is going to be a chess match that I want to see. I think I would give San Francisco the edge because offensively, they have more weapons, in my opinion. They have more weapons right now. So it'll be different. But rest assured, Reed gonna have a plan and Shanahan gonna have a play. So let me see. My phone just rang. But we shall see. All right, hold tight. Yeah, sorry about that. Getting phone calls in the middle of the show. It is what it is. But yeah, man, it's gonna be a good Super Bowl. I don't know who I'm rooting for yet. I got friends that play for both. I'm gonna try to get Jason Dunn on. I'm gonna try to get Mighty Mouse on, Mark McMillan, and a couple other guys. We'll see what's gonna happen. But I'm gonna pay attention to what's going on in Detroit for the next couple of days, because that hangover has got to be rough. Got to be rough. So, but I'm gonna end this a little bit early. I've been rolling for almost 30 minutes. We had like 26 minutes, so I'm gonna keep it short. So go ahead on and enjoy the rest of your lunch. I will be back on Wednesday, same time around 12:10. And we are always done before 12 on or before 12:50. Give you time to clock back in and keep it moving. So I appreciate you guys for joining me. Circle back on Wednesday. If you haven't subscribed to Pro Fan Talk, please do hit that notification bell, because I got a lot of new things going on, and it is going to increase as we get closer to the Super Bowl. So right now, live at lunch will be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12:10 to 12:50. So make it a lunch date, man, and I will see you on Wednesday. All right, Cody, I'll see you, man. Y'all have a good one. Peace.